So unfortunately, it's getting down to the colder temperatures here in Michigan. We're going to get down to the low 20s at the end of the week. So I need to winterize the trailer. So I'm going to work on that today. But while I'm outside, I thought I would start making these videos for you. We're going to start with some of the things on the outside of the trailer. So when we got the trailer, it came with this bracket. We think it was for some sort of, I don't know, CB antenna, something, I don't know. The hole on the top, we've got a piece of threaded rod that's inside the trailer that you can put a flag on. That's what we used it for. You undo this, you can, hands are a little stiff in the cold. You can take that up and lock it, and then you can have instant flag pull. So we did that sometimes at rallies. Then down here are the pagoda lights on the side of the battery box, which is empty. The battery's inside the trailer now. You can have your instant campfire. This is the city water hookup, so if you go someplace that has water, you just hook up your hose to this, and that way you don't have to use the holding tank inside the trailer or the pump. Here's the propane. We don't really use propane for anything. More often than not, I would disconnect this and hook it up to my barbecue and barbecue outside. We don't really use the cooktop or the oven that much. We mostly use the oven for storage, but you can flip between the left and right tanks and open the valves when you need to. Again, this is just storage. There's nothing in the battery box. Electric jack, light, up, down. It's pretty simple. The weight distributing hitch, I'll have to show your brother when he comes in. This is the fill for the 15-gallon water tank that's up front. There's an adapter. I'll give you the adapter too, so you can hook your garden hose up to it. Put this in here and fill up the water tank. And then there's a radio antenna, which as far as I know is hooked up to nothing. And then your leveler, so you can tell when you're pulling up if you need to put blocks under one side or the other to level up your trailer. And I thought I would just show you the easiest way to get the hitch, the step down is just go ahead and pull that down and grab that, and you've got your 2 steps to get up into the trailer. Okay, here's the front dinette made up as a bed, and I'm going to convert it to the dinette. So what we need to do is flip up this back cushion and the seat cushion. Take this cushion out. The other side, okay. So this is just a reinforcement piece. You only use it when it's a bed, so you can just go ahead and pull this piece out. And we usually store it right here behind the dinette. Just be careful as you put it back there because there are water lines running back behind there. Okay, then we're going to take the table and put the table up into these holes up on top. And I'm going to pause it here because I can't do this one-handed. Okay, so now we have the table up on top. You'll see there's 3 pins. What we need to do is lift the table slightly, push it until it's all the way back, and that supports the back of the table. And then there's a leg that flips down that supports the rest of the table, and then you just put the cushions back. And there's your dinette. And as long as we have access to it, so underneath this center door, there is your power converter. There is your power converter little genie thing, which there's 3 different charging modes, one for storage and one for camping and everything else. I don't usually mess with that at all, just let it automatically do it. There are 2 switches in here. One is for the 12-volt lights, and the other one is for the water pump. There is a circuit breaker, and this plug here with the GFI on it is for the power converter. Every once in a great while, if you go to a campground that isn't wired properly, this GFI will trip. There's a little button, little reset button on it should you need it. Over on this side is where the water tank filler comes in. There's a little door here that I already have pulled out, and then below there is a valve so you can drain the water tank. Okay, underneath the dinette on this side is the water pump. Pretty much nothing really to worry about here, except there is a little water filter that you can unscrew, and there's like a wire mesh in here you can clean out every once in a while. It just every once in a while gets a little bit of stuff in it. Just a little extra insurance to keep the pump healthy. On this side also, usually tucked away underneath, is a hose and a valve, and that is for winterizing. You may never have to do that, but what it allows you to do is pump the pink RV antifreeze through the whole plumbing system without having to fill the water tank in front. So you can just put the gallon of antifreeze right here, turn the pump on, and the pump will pump the antifreeze directly into the water system. Again, in your climate, probably not something you're ever going to have to worry about. Okay, and putting the dinette back, make sure that the leg is down, otherwise the table won't go all the way back. And then there's the 3 pins again. Slide that back until it's all the way back and locked. That makes this really stable and strong. And then you put your insert piece back in, and then put the cushions down, and you're done. Okay, a recent addition is the where the old gas light used to be. There was a hole in the cabinet, and we never liked that there was a hole in the cabinet, so we bought another gas light. We gutted it, and we put a LED flame bulb in it, so that's kind of nice. If you turn it on and off quickly, it goes from steady to kind of this pulsing thing to the simulated flame. Okay, up in front there used to be a very scary gas heater that we took out because we figured we would never use it. We always used just a little electric heater. So we built this, and what we have here is places for you to charge like your phone or whatever you need. So there's 12 volt, 110, there's puck lights in here. Change color, and there's a remote for those in here. And then below, storage for like what we keep in here is like that flag we talked about earlier, or the broom, or umbrellas and stuff like that, and it just makes a nice little storage area in the front. The air conditioner is pretty self-explanatory. If you turn it to the first detent, there is a heat feature, which is kind of nice. Just takes kind of the clamminess off. It doesn't really get super hot, but you don't need that. But on a chilly night, it definitely makes a difference. And then there's 2 different vent settings and 2 different cooling settings. Also for the air conditioner, there is a filter inside the cover, and if you take the 2 screws off at either end, you can drop that down and clean the filter should you need to. In the closet, there are 4 circuit breakers for the 110. So that's for all the 110 volt systems. One thing I should mention is the water heater is 110 and the air conditioner is 110, and they both draw a lot of power. So what we've always tried to do is if the air conditioning is running, we don't run the water heater, and vice versa, and that seems to keep the electrical system very happy. One thing I should mention is throughout the coach there is a mixture of 12 volt and 110 volt lights. You can feel free to turn them all on or off at, whatever you want to do. If you turn both the 12 volt and the 110 on, it does create quite a bit of light. The thing is, when you, obviously if you're boondocking, which is, camping someplace without electricity, you only have the 12 volt lights, and that's fine. There's a really big battery in the coach, and we hardly ever ran that battery dry. Just be careful when you're replacing the bulbs to make sure that you know that you're putting the 12 volt in the 12 volt socket and the 110 in the 110 socket. They won't work if you get them backwards. Also, there's a switch right here which has the 12 volt lights. That's there. The 110 light and the porch light. The water heater is here opposite of the bed. It's pretty much self-explanatory. There's a switch inside this other cabinet next to it to turn it on and off. There's the switch. And there is a bypass on it, so if you don't want to fill the hot water tank with water, or if you're winterizing it, you can bypass it with the valves that are in there. There's the bathroom sink, and there's a hook here to use the wand for when you're using the sink. And then there's another hook on the wall for when you're using it when you're taking a shower. Here's the little clothes hamper. We usually put a canvas bag in there, and then we can have a place for our dirty clothes. And then there's the toilet, pretty standard RV toilet with the foot thing. There's a shut off for the toilet back behind here. If there's ever a problem, you need to shut the water off.